So name and age.
My name's Tom French, age 63. Been logging all my life. When I mean all my life, literally all my life. I can remember going out with my dad, 5 or 6 years old, up in the mountains out of Quilcene, and I'd be carrying the gas, and he'd in the rainy days he'd build a fire up in the woods and tell me to watch it because he'd be working by himself. And I can remember those days really well. Rainy days, sunny days, feeding mosquitoes some days, and trying to stay warm the other days.
That's cool. Who did your dad work for back then?
Oh, he was a contract cutter for a lot of the little jumbo loggers around Quilcene. There was Early East Guard, and he cut for Winnie's and Don Westerlin, and
wow,
and Roger Adelman, and there was a lot of guys they cut timber for. Sometimes Bill Bolander. So yeah, so mostly it was up in the mountains out of Quilcene. The timber wasn't real good, but it's a nice grade, and it was good going. So that's where I started.
Wow. And now, how long did you go before you started cutting with your dad?
So, I started cutting with my dad, I guess I was probably about 15. I'd always been in the woods packing gas and oil for him. He moved out, he went to work out at Forks when he was in 67 with Roger Adelman moved out there, and then so my dad did too, but was always out in the woods every summer when I got done playing baseball.
Okay. Now, is pretty much most of your career been cutting timber?
Yeah, pretty much all my career. Only the last few years since you get old, your knees are bad after working in the mountains. So I transitioned into buying logs and doing specialty work, music wood, and figure maple and stuff like that.
Okay.
So, no, it's been good.
Oh, cool. So, when I'm telling me a little bit about when you were cutting timber, when I talked with your son a bit, he was telling me that you did some jobs where you had the helicopter in.
Yeah, we did some jobs out at up in the Salt River, Clearwater area. We helicoptered in, and up in the flat. There's a big flat up over the ridge against the park line, and we cut it. It was on a unit. If you can believe this, it was 140 million feet, 100 acres.
Wow.
And so that's where we worked there, and helicoptered in, and most of the time they would just take us in the helicopter on up, but a few times I rode the hook on up, so that was kind of interesting. It's got a 5/16 line, and you're hanging onto it with this little ring under you.
Oh, wow.
I did that a few times, actually more than a few. That same job, Mo was working across the ridge on the Clearwater side, and they were hung over there, from there over to the side we were on. They had a big fire. They had like 3 million feet of old growth fir. Besides these logs you're looking at going on, burn up.
Wow.
And it went 15, 20 minutes. But anyway, they couldn't get the helicopter to the truck there. And anyway, they couldn't get so they flew me in on the hook. We had an 090. Flew that in a 50-inch bar, and I cut the stump off they were hanging on to, and that thing went flying down through the canyon and up the other side, and there was the tower up there was sitting there going banging and
wow,
everything. That was quite a trip.
Wow. And what year was that?
Oh man, I don't remember the year. Let's see. It was probably about, I really don't remember the year, but I'm going to guess it was 84, 83.
Okay.
Somewhere in 1983.
Wow, that's amazing.
Tim, you need another log? You better check that out.
What was the, so in all the jobs that you've done out in the woods, what do you think is the most fulfilling?
Oh, I don't know. I like them all, but I definitely like working out at Forks, jacking big trees up the hill, and
wow.
Sometimes they had a job out there. It was all big Douglas fir, and they had 6-7 feet on the stump. And we were jacking them up this hill. It was always a challenge to see who can get the longest, and we got some over 200 feet. Yeah, I had two 50-ton rams called Timber Tipper, And so we had 2 guys that worked together, and we had 2 crews working on that job for basically a whole year.
Wow.
And anyway, we jacked those trees up in those canyons.
Wow.
So that was an interesting job.
So the job that you helicoptered into, who logged that?
Who logged that? That was Olympic Aerial. Their balloon had crashed by that time, and so they took their yarder and made a standing guy line. Took one guy line on a stump way behind them up the hill, and another one up above it's laid out the roads that way, and then it was just a double drum. And
oh wow!
But they get 10, 12 loads a day.
Wow!
It wasn't very fast, but the trees were so big that it worked real good for them.
Wow! And you did some tower logging yourself with a couple of guys from around the Quill area, right?
I did. We had a little double drum Burger 2 yarder. It was just mounted on a little A-frame. It mounted on a sled, had it on an A-frame, and so we had this A-frame, a double drum, and we did 2 or 3 jobs with that, and then we decided we didn't want.
Wow.
Couldn't find it. That was right in the 80s and then or 90s, and then things kind of crashed a little bit, so we just decided.
Wow, and who was that with, or who'd you do that with?
We people logged around. We did our first job, 2 jobs for Pope, and then a couple private jobs and stuff. But my partners, they, we just decided it wasn't working out. We made money at it, but it really wasn't high producing.
Okay.
And it just wasn't working out. And they got married and moved on in life, so we just decided no anymore. But we did, different stuff.
Was that Kenny Harris that you did that with?
No,
that
was Darren Heward and my uncle Don French was later. Kenny McDonald.
Kenny McDonald. Okay, that's what I was thinking of.
I worked with my dad, worked for a few guys, and then Richie came along and wanted to be working out in the woods, and so now I'm working with my son, so we got 3 generations going now.
That's cool.
So you never know, maybe we'll have a 4th. Maybe not, maybe so.
Yeah.
It's been a good life though, and really enjoyed what I've done. Never yet, not rich.
How long did you work for your dad before you struck out on your own?
Oh, probably about 15 years.
Okay.
We partnered up actually.
Okay.
A little bit later on. So we stayed partners basically I was about 35.
Looks like we need a push here, huh?
So that was that. Now I just log with Rich and I buy maple and alder and send it back east.
You can think of something that stands out in your mind as being the scariest day in the woods.
Oh, scariest day in the woods. Oh man, I've had some
Lots
pretty
of
scary days. I'll tell you what, scariest time I had is we were up in Salt Lake also, and there was a big rock cliff, and there was a bunch of trees on ledges down there. And I had a guy up above me with a rope. We had a 100-foot rope, and I'd go down over those rock cliffs, following those trees off that ledges, and sometimes we'd have a springboard on those trees because they were that big and sitting just on a ledge down there.
Wow.
I did it for 1 week on the side. It was a big bowl, and I did it on one side, and my dad's partner, Harold Hodges, was on the other side. It took us a week to get all those trees down. That rope would be wrapped around a little tree up above with somebody hanging on there, and
wow,
let gas down, oil when needed and stuff.
Wow.
That's probably the scariest time. But when you're 18, 19 years old, you do a lot of scary things and don't think about it. Nowadays, no way.
And how about biggest tree you ever cut down?
Oh man, I've got some really, really big trees.
Where you have your pants up like that?
Probably the biggest on the butt was a cedar, 16.5 feet. The one that had the biggest volume was a spruce tree. It was 12 feet around. And they lifted it up with the yarder, and because it's swell butted, they set it right down between the bunks of the log trucks. Spread them out a little bit, but one log load between the bunks at 40-footer.
Wow. What'd that scale at?
I don't remember, but it was the biggest tree I ever felt. I mean, that thing was really long.
Oh, wow.
That was out on the dicky.
Wow.
Forks.
Too much. Well, Tom, thank you very much for your time.
Yep, you're welcome.